Okay, music-inspired superlatives for NFL Week 1, 2024. The Post Malone, a.k.a. Wow Award. I don't know what that means. Biggest surprise of Week 1. Biggest surprise of Week 1.
Post Malone had a song called Wow. It's a really good song. It's a moment when I show up, got him saying wow. And when Anthony Richardson showed up, right, threw that ball, yeeted that ball down the field to Alec Pierce, that's my moment for wow. Because that's the thing that made me say wow the most. I don't recall ever seeing a throw like that where somebody slips and then is able to set themselves, not even quite get all of their body into it and still be able to throw the ball almost 70 yards down the field. I mean, he gets this ball at about the +2, and is able to just go in the end zone, hits him in stride. That is one of the most impressive throws I've ever seen, let alone from just Week 1. So that is my wow moment of the week.
That really is incredible. To not even be able to get everything you have into it and hit Alec Pierce in stride, who's trying to live up to what made him a third-round pick, I believe, maybe second-round pick a couple of years ago. They found him when they went to scout Desmond Ridder, and they thought they had something with Alec Pierce, and he said he's really got to prove it this year, and he kind of did. He kind of did Week 1. For me, I go all the way back to last Thursday because the one thing that created the biggest and loudest collective wow was the Isaiah Likely non-touchdown at the end of the Ravens-Chiefs game.
Yeah.
We kind of forgot about that. It feels stale, like AT&T Stadium popcorn by the time you get to Sunday and Monday. Because, man, that was like a month ago. Well, no, that was
we had a game on Friday, too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the game that started Week 1. And you get Justice Hill doing the do-si-do with Chris Jones, and Lamar Jackson buys enough time, and he finds Isaiah Likely at the back of the end zone. I mean, that's wow. They call it a touchdown, and you start seeing these angles. And it's like, that's not clear and obvious that his toe's out. That's not clear and obvious that his toe's out. It looks like it's maybe out, but it's not clear and obvious. And I made this point on a post, I think I did it Friday or Saturday. The fact that it was an NBC primetime game, there's the one that makes it clear and obvious. If this is a Sunday afternoon third-tier game on CBS, you're not getting that angle. You're not getting that angle, and there's a chance that's a touchdown, and the Ravens go for 2 and win the game. So that was the wow moment for me.
Well, good thing it was Baltimore and Kansas City, because that's not going to ever be a third-tier game on CBS on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. But that's the reality. Those lesser games have moments like that, and it should be. It should be. They've got the highest level of video technology available for all games. Bill Belichick advocated when he was in the league to have the fixed cameras at every stadium. They wouldn't do it. You know why? Because they're cheap. All right. The Stevie Wonder Don't You Worry About a Thing award, not You Are the Sunshine of My Life, which was the subject of a gift that we used to announce the show on X today, or Twitter as the case may be. The No Need to Panic Yet, Don't You Worry About a Thing goes to who?
Well, first of all, Don't You Worry About a Thing is one of my top 3 songs of all time. I love that song. It's a fantastic song. It's a fantastic album, Inner Visions. But also, the Bengals. You don't need to worry about a thing quite yet. It was ugly Week 1. It has been ugly Week 1 for them in the past. I mean, think about what it was last year. Obviously, Joe Burrow wasn't quite healthy last year coming off the calf. But I think that when you are the Bengals and you know that you get off to slow starts, it's going to be okay. You still have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You still have one of the best wide receivers in the league. T. Higgins, he'll get healthy. It'll be all right. You got one of the best defensive coordinators in the league, too, in Lou Anarumo. So it did not look good Week 1, but it will be okay. Don't you worry about a thing, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that that's the case this year. Something feels different this year. Although 1-8 is Joe Burrow's record in Week 1 and Week 2 games during his career. That, to me, when that stat showed up on Monday's PFT Live, I didn't know about that, and I thought, holy crap, that's unbelievable that Joe Burrow has struggled that badly. He has historically turned it around. We'll see if he does. I guess I'll go with the Cardinals, because even though they lost, they looked a hell of a lot better than anyone thought they would. And they went into Buffalo and almost beat the Bills and had chances to beat the Bills to start the season. And what a lightning strike that would have been if it had turned out in that 1 o'clock window on the first Sunday of the regular season. We see the final scores and you see Arizona beat Buffalo. Are you kidding me? So I think they'll be fine. And it gets fascinating as soon as this weekend when they host the Rams. The Rams are banged up.
Really
Can the
banged up.
Cardinals knock off the Rams? And wasn't it like Sean McVay like completely dominates? Like
He does.
and there was one
I think they've won
turnaround in
once or
there,
twice.
but for the most part, the Rams have had the better of the Cardinals throughout McVay's time in LA. But it makes me feel like the Cardinals might be competitive in an NFC that I think those last two playoff spots possibly are going to be up for grabs. We'll see how it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
The Dua Lipa. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Con?
Good job. Dua Lipa.
Are we sure it's not Con? The Dua Lipa, whoever that is, a.k.a. Illusion Award, not believing what I'm seeing. I'm sorry I'm not aware of Dua Lipa.
You should be.
Would be a good name for a dog or a cat, really. You have Dua and you have Lipa. And do not eata, Dua Lipa. Okay, not believing what I'm seeing is the superlative here. What do you have?
I'm not believing what I'm seeing when it comes to you right now. I have the Saints, and that is unfortunately because they played the Carolina Panthers, who looked hapless on Sunday. And look, I think the Saints could be good, but I don't know that they're beating teams by 37 points kind of good, right? I mean, this looked like, to me, a game that you would see closer to the end of the regular season than a game that you should have started the season with, especially considering that the head coach came from the same division, and also you have continuity with defensive coordinator with the Carolina Panthers. So, and there's a lot of continuity with the offense. I mean, yes, offensive coordinator is different, but with the personnel with the New Orleans Saints. So I think that they could be all right, but I don't believe that they are as good as they looked against the Panthers on Sunday.
Yeah. Look, I'm not believing what I'm seeing with the Vikings, and I'll believe it when I see it against a team like the 49ers, which is coming up, or the Texans, which is coming up, or the Packers, which is coming up. The Giants and the Panthers could be vying for the worst team in the entire NFL. So, hey, It's better to go in and lose, but there's not a whole lot of pride you can take in beating the Giants the way the Vikings did, because it just feels like the Giants are going to have a hard time this year. And all that said, and tomorrow's when we really start pivoting into preview mode for week 2. Sam Darnold knows the 49ers pretty well. He was there last year, and the Vikings beat the 49ers. Kevin O'Connell seemed to have ideas for cracking the code on the San Francisco defense, so maybe that's going to be a better game than we expect. Last one, the Green Day. Now, this is, and I even know Dilemma. I like Dilemma. That's a great song.
Right.
That's from their current album, Saviors. That's one of the better songs on that album. The American Dream is Killing Me. Look, Ma, No Brains. I listen to that album from time to time. So thank you, Gary, for not making me feel as old as I am. Biggest question heading into week 2. By the way, Dilemma is nominated for Best Rock Video. So good to give the old guys a little play tonight. Who has the biggest question heading into week 2?
I gotta say, I'm more familiar with Kelly Rowland and Nelly's Dilemma than I am with Green Day, but I do like the album American Idiot. The biggest question to me is how are the Rams going to withstand these injuries? Because there's a lot, especially on the offensive side. When you look at Puka Nacua being down, offensive line already was banged up going into week 1. And then you had the suspension, of course, to Alaric Jackson as well, with Rob Havenstein with the ankle. I mean, it's more banged up now going into week 2. And they had a valiant effort against the Detroit Lions. They convert that third down where Matthew Stafford can't quite hit Cooper Kupp late in the fourth quarter. And maybe they would have won that game, but it's going to be tough for them. And, we were just talking about the Arizona Cardinals. They didn't look bad, against the Buffalo Bills. And yeah, historically, Sean McVay has beaten the tar out of the Arizona Cardinals down there. But this one could be a little bit difficult just based on the fact that you got to give the offensive line at least a little bit of help. And so we'll see how they game plan it this week. But that to me is a big question mark.
I've yet to see which game Tom Brady is working this week, which is kind of surprising because they had made it known to us for months the game he was going to work week 1. I don't know if it's going to be Saints-Cowboys. There isn't a 4:25 p.m. Eastern game on Fox, and I mentioned that because the one game that stood out to me was the rematch of Super Bowl 49, Seahawks-Patriots. Bring Tommy back to New England. And that is a big question for me because are the Patriots real? Was it just a fluke? Are they just the latest team to catch the Bengals napping as they are in Rip Van Winkle hibernation week 1 and week 2? Or can they actually sustain this? The Seahawks are a question mark because they have a new head coach and they're transitioning from whatever they've been to whatever they want to be. But at the same time, the Patriots get to 2-0. Man, that makes next week's Thursday night game compelling. Patriots-Jets. Good Lord, if the Patriots go in there 2-0. So that's the biggest question. Can the Patriots continue to do what they did against the Cincinnati Bengals to start the season? And, by the way, it is New Orleans, the site of, and I'm sure they'll mention this throughout the game, that's where Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, and he'll be back to call his first Super Bowl and hype it up and hype it up and hype it up. So Saints-Cowboys, week 2. Week 3, not announced yet, by the way. Okay, there's one more. The Katy Perry, a.k.a. Dark Horse Award from week 1. Who do you have?
Give me the Chargers because I like the way that they competed against the Raiders on Sunday. I thought that, they did a good job, especially on defense. Antonio Pierce's 4th down decision obviously did not help the Raiders in that situation in the 4th quarter. If you're going to try to go down the field and win the game, it's 4th and 1, man, and you're in plus territory. Go try to win the game. That was just not a good conservative decision by Antonio Pierce. But what you did see on the other side was a Greg Roman offense, right? And, I think for Justin Herbert trying to kind of take that next step as a quarterback, he's going to have a run game. And we already knew that. If Jim Harbaugh's there and Greg Roman's there, they're going to be able to have a run game. They're going to be able to run the football. It was great to see J.K. Dobbins come back and do what he did. I don't know if they're going to be a real playoff team, given how good some of these quarterbacks are and some of these offenses and defenses are in the AFC, but the Chargers are going to be feisty. And you know what? If Harbaugh's there, they've got a shot.
Feisty is just such an underused word. I like the word feisty. I encourage using feisty whenever and wherever it fits the conversation. The Buccaneers are a little feisty. And their former linebacker, Devin White, literally owned a horse that he would ride around on, which is what you do with horses, unless you eat them.
Or cut off their heads and put them in somebody's bed.
That's true. That was an actual horse head, by the way, from the book based on the making of The Godfather. They tried to make a fake one, and it wasn't good, so they managed to get themselves their hands on a real horse head for that scene. Spoiler alert, if you've yet to see the original Godfather. Buccaneers, dark horse. I'm going to say this all year, and I'm the one guy that believes in the Buccaneers, and I'm sure they'd prefer I didn't. They'd like to say no one, anywhere, anyhow, under any circumstances believes in us this year. I got them going to the NFC Championship. They kicked the crap out of the Commanders, and I think that's been overlooked because it's like, the Commanders are the Commanders. Well, I think the Bucs are better than people realize, and I think they're going to continue. And they get the Lions this week. They get the Lions this week. Chance to go back and hopefully they'll manage the clock a little better. Hopefully they'll call their timeouts when they realize the Lions are trying to piss down their legs and give the Bucs a chance to force overtime in that game. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.